let's play this clip of somebody who called into Rush Limbaugh, and just to get a sense of this relationship with their voters to Donald Trump. This is pretty impressive.
Hi, Rush. It's great to be here. I'm going to try to hold myself together, not get emotional here, but I want to harken back to your statement about Georgia and about the Trump voter.
Yeah.
And they should be very afraid, very afraid. Trump and you are all we have left, Rush. We've spent our lives voting for these people because they're not them. And we just can't do it anymore. We're tired of being stabbed in the back, Rush. It's better to have an enemy that's in front of you than a friend that's behind you that's just going to stab you. They do it every time. We have a Republican-controlled state, and they won't do an audit of the vote. They won't. They just basically told every Georgian that they don't care. We were in Washington on Saturday. Me and my 33-year-old son, we saw more people than we've ever seen in our lifetime, ever. And we're season ticket holders for the Ravens, for God's sakes. I've been in crowds of 80,000 people. I've been to Steelers games, for goodness sakes. I have never seen so many people. But were there any Republicans there? No. None. But
wait. What,
Wait, there were no.
There were no What was this thing that you went to?
I went
a week ago Saturday in Washington, D.C., the mega rally. There must have been hundreds of thousands.
Okay, it's a MAGA rally, and you mean no elected Republicans? Is that what you mean?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Our party leadership, quote unquote, if this were a Democrat rally, they would all be there. They were there for the anti-Tea Party movement, walking hand in hand up the steps.
Yep.
No one stands for us, Rush. Only you and Donald Trump. God forbid. What do we have left? I love my president. I am not a revolutionary, Rush, but I will die for my president. This man has given more to this country than anybody, and he has no need to. None. He's a billionaire. He doesn't need this.
That's exactly right.
It's disheartening.
Imagine how emotional he was when the Ravens drafted Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. No, that guy's a wide receiver. He's black. He can't throw the ball.
He's got elite skills. How do you get the ball in his hand, Rush? How do you do it? On punt returns?
This is my kind of humor.
Yeah. Good stuff. I love the idea, too, that like the moments where the guy almost broke is like every time he thinks about all that Donald Trump has given to him, about all that Rush has done. And then also like the time they went to a Steelers game.
Yeah.
Where presumably people were really rude. Like they were just like, that Flacco jersey sucks. And he's like, all right, man, hold on 1 second.
Oof. I mean, I you hate to hear someone cry like that, except at the end.
I couldn't be more excited about the prospect that those folks in Georgia are enraged and won't come out and vote for Loeffler. And I mean, now, for people who are wondering why Perdue and Loeffler were attacking Raffensperger in Georgia, now you know why, because they're afraid that dude and his 33-year-old son that they traveled up to the MAGA rally.
My adult son.
We saw more people than we saw at the Ravens game.
This isn't important, but my son is huge.
But that's what they're afraid of, that those people are going to stay home because they felt like they got stabbed in the back.
What else do they have?
Die for the president, so...
Yeah. I mean, like, you're going to run on... is Kelly Loeffler going to run on the results, the good work she's done for the state of Georgia, which is like, casting votes for some 31-year-old Federalist Society person to become a judge? Like, or their policies, which are... I mean, to me, like, it's instructive that this guy is as out of sorts as he is, because he has fundamentally like the caller has been like so clearly immersed in this media that is designed to keep him upset, but also like prevent him from understanding why he is upset.
Yes.
And like, I mean, to a certain extent, like, obviously, like, I don't want to like have seats near this guy at a Ravens game or anywhere. Like, it's not somebody, this is clearly like a person who has some issues, but at the same time, like, it's hard not to feel bad for him to a certain extent, because like he got rooked, like beyond getting like hustled by Trump, which is like the most embarrassing. Like that's like losing like 40 consecutive games of 3-card Monty. It's like losing your house in 3-card Monty. Like it's not a sophisticated hustle because it's not a sophisticated man. But beyond that, like that inability to like reverse course or like just like take a look at where you are and think about how you got there, like it's going to be really hard for that dude. Life is going to be really hard for that dude.
I mean, he's probably, he's probably in his 50s or 60s at this point. I mean, maybe even, 60s, 70s. You have a 33-year-old son. And he has, did he say he had season tickets to the Ravens?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I'm surprised. Like,
isn't it like it's a big drive, right?
Well,
I mean, I feel bad for that guy because he's got to drive that much. I mean, but he's going from Georgia to Washington. He makes that drive quite a bit, it sounds like, on the weekends, if he's going to see the Ravens at home games. But I don't know. I don't think it's healthy to feel bad for that guy until he realizes he's been.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you have to want help.
It's actually dangerous. Because we got to beat that guy.
Of course. I just mean that like that's the part of it that as I look back on all this, that like I wonder how you move forward from here. That like somebody like that is now outside of politics to a certain extent, right? That like that's not, or at least they're so in politics in like a partisan Manichaean, like they're evil, we're good sort of version of it, that like there's no reaching somebody like that. Because this is
no reaching. And the problem is that a big part of this is, and I think Donald Trump came out of this world, frankly, is that there is that right-wing media machine is completely self-sufficient now. It used to be like they would try and, their machine was built in such a way that it was trying to sort of like leak this stuff out into the mainstream media. We got it on Drudge, so now we're going to see it on ABC News this week, and that's the way we're going to take out Acorn. Well, now they don't need to do that.
Yeah,
they've hit critical mass, yeah. And they are just turning out sort of warriors who have been essentially created in their sort of like their matrix like power stations, and they're just pumping these guys out, and it's all self-sustaining now. They don't need to permeate the lamestream media anymore because theirs is running concurrent and is just as powerful. And
if not more so, because you can participate in it as like a regular person, and in terms of just this online self-creator kind of mindset where you can be doing investigative journalism about the vote totals in Michigan that turned out to be Minnesota, or you can be a part of like this far-right algorithm that favors this kind of content in many areas. And you can even go further and go to 4chan or different areas of the internet. This is more Binder's area of expertise, but and learn about, like, QAnon is a great example of that self-sustaining right-wing emotional reaction. Yeah,
it's open source, like that you could basically get in there and like play some sort of role, feel like a participant, especially feel like a participant in the way that like casting a vote every 2 or every 4 years certainly does not make you feel like a participant. And then also like be a part of this other story. I always thought that if Trump found out what QAnon was, he would be into it, even though he knows that, obviously he's aware that like he is not working to take down a secret cabal. He's not really working at much of anything, but that like, I think that like that would be the sort of thing where he'd be like, oh yeah, sure. Like, yeah, I hate those. The cabal is awful, terrible. Like, and just would, run with it. They like, because it's a fantasy that centers him. And I think that like, it also is the sort of thing that like, you can see the appeal to other people, and that like, it's a fantasy where like you get to enlist in this battle that fundamentally is going to be fought by like, our army and our, like these sort of columns of riot cops on your behalf.
Well, that's what's so central to this right-wing cycle, right? With the QAnon thing too, where they feel special and they feel like they have this secret knowledge that they can draw upon, and that they're the only ones that know what's right, and that they're the righteous group and the people that are participating in something greater than themselves. And it's almost spiritual and kind of dovetails with what we're talking about here, where
it's that fundamentalist mindset.
Yeah, it's this purpose that is outside of you and outside of the material almost. And I think that like you can pity him, and I do too, actually, David. But I'm also scared by that.
Oh yeah,
because there's that's the exact kind of fundamentalist Muslim that they think is inherently evil. Like that's the similar mindset.
It's got the stuff that's uniquely American about it. I think that's really well said. Is really violent and really like in I think a unique sort of way. That's like the thing with Q is like it's easy to make fun of the shit because it's so stupid. For lack of I don't know if that is that too much of a political science jargon term. Everybody knows what stupid means, right?
Yeah, I know.
But there is like also this other element of it where the end game of all of that is like military tribunals and public executions for prominent politicians from the opposition party. And like that's a weird fantasy, man. That's a lot different than like we're gonna vote them out and then work with them to make America better or whatever.
And he said that Democratic politicians show up to like leftist rallies. Seriously? I mean, Black Lives Matter. How many Democratic politicians showed up for those kind of protests?
I think people were wearing a dashiki and taking it. I'm not sure.
Cory Bush not Cory Bush. Cory Booker wearing a pink scarf to the Women's March does not count.
I don't know. I don't sympathize with the guy. I mean, just the idea that his son would travel anywhere with him, I think like it puts him light years ahead of where I'm at. My kids won't do anything with me at all.
Well, you have like Jets season tickets though.
No, I do not.
I know you don't. I definitively know you do not.
Yeah, I'd get Pat's seats, but I mean, who's gonna go up there now? What's the point?
We're gonna do the Cam Newton whip around. We're gonna do Cam minute. Good.